15-year-old male teen in clown costume accused of stabbing to death a 78-year-old man in East St. Louis is in custody now. Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And what on God's green earth is happening in East St. Louis, Illinois? A couple of weeks ago, and especially with East St. Louis and his youth today. And I'm not targeting East St. Louis. This is happening in every major city throughout our country. However, in the recent weeks here, a few weeks here, a couple of weeks ago, you had two teenagers, a male and a female. They were boyfriend, girlfriend, allegedly. And the boyfriend of the girl allegedly shot and killed like 6 or 7 of her family members. And she allegedly stole a gun from a family member, gave the gun to her boyfriend, and they went on a killing spree and killing many of the young ladies, the female teenagers, family members. And of course, both of them are in jail. Kind of a Bonnie and Clyde kind of situation. Shook up East St. Louis like crazy a few weeks ago. And now, just a day or two ago, there's been a story about a 15-year-old male who was walking around in a clown costume, knocking on people's doors, saying things through their doorbell camera, and after that, he allegedly stabbed a 78-year-old man to death. Yes, a 15-year-old male in a clown costume. This almost seems like both of those stories about the 15-year-old, the teenage boy and girl who were a couple. Her family didn't want her to be with the boy, so they decide to go and kill her family. Sounds like straight out of a movie, a Bonnie and Clyde kind of situation. And now you have this situation with a 15-year-old male who's walking around knocking on people's doors and saying crazy stuff in a clown costume, and then allegedly stabbed a man to death just hours later. What in the God's green earth is going on in today's world? Yes, there are mentally ill people out here. There are crazy people out here, and there are demonic folks out here. But what you're seeing in both of those stories is that the craziness and the demonic forces are getting younger and younger and younger. And the kinds of crimes that these young people are committing are getting to be more and more disastrous, creative, mysterious, just diabolical in nature. So there is something that's going on in the air, in the spirit world, where these demonic forces are permeating in these young people each and every day. We're seeing perpetrators that are getting younger and younger, 10 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old. What is going on in our world today with our youth? You have many of these kids that are making adult decisions that have adult consequences. And so this story is really bizarre. A 15-year-old kid walking around in a clown outfit in the middle of the summer and is 80, 90 degrees even at night. Of course, people's tentacles are going to go up. That's why I tell you all the time, keep your head on the swivel, utilize the 5 senses that God gave you. We are in a very trepidous, chaotic, disorderly world and godless world that we're living in today. So let's get into this story. The killing around 10:02 p.m. on Monday, August 3rd, East St. Louis police were called to North 76th Street and State Street after reports of a body in the roadway. They found a 78-year-old man, John Wesley Allen Sr., who had died from multiple stab wounds, according to the St. Clair County coroner. So this is where the kid comes in, the clown sighting beforehand. Less than an hour earlier, at 9:11 p.m., a person dressed as a clown was caught on a Holmes Ring doorbell camera approaching the house. He looked directly into the camera and said, "I've been looking for you." It sounds like a script straight out of a movie. Before walking around the property. The footage only showed the person's eyes, since a mask covered the rest of his face. Other outlets cite a similar clip where he says to at another home into a doorbell camera, he said, "I have a gift for you." Lee Palmer, they interviewed a guy, told a local news station that the home that he's told that this 15-year-old in a clown outfit said, I have a gift for you. That was the home of Lee Palmer's mother, who was at home alone at the time, and that the figure lingered for several minutes around her property. Do you know how scary that has to be, especially as an elderly person and especially as a single elderly woman? You're already living in an urban city. East St. Louis is not the safest place. St. Louis City is not the safest place. And to be an elderly female, elderly woman who's living alone, and you got somebody in a costume at your doorbell ring, whispering crazy stuff like, "I've been looking for you, I have a gift for you," and this man has a butcher knife or some kind of big knife in his hand and swirling it around. That has to be the scariest thing on the planet. And this is a situation where the Second Amendment of our U.S. Constitution comes into play, the right to bear arms and to protect your property. And you have to remember, I tell you all the time, to pay attention to your city, state, and local laws, along with your federal laws. But in Illinois is not an open carry state. Missouri is an open carry state. And it makes you wonder, with all the craziness that is going on out here in our world today, for those who are not gun believers or NRA supporters, situations like this make you believe that you should have a right to bear arms and protect your property. We all know that many of our cities, our police departments are understaffed. They're overworked. There's not enough people there. They're not getting to 911 calls right away. So you're kind of self-policing yourself anyway. And if you got these kinds of situations that are taking place with people in clown suits, with teenagers killing their own family members, the level of gun violence and the level of inhumanity is at a premium today. And I try to do these videos. I know everybody's busy. You don't get to watch your news outlets. But if I can give you a story or two each day, just as a reminder to pay attention to your surroundings, and this is not an easy world to live in. This is a tough world to live in. Then my channel serves its purpose. It's informational and educational in nature, and to raise our level of consciousness. So also neighbors reported that they saw the teenager going door to door in the area. And this is how crazy this kid is, or this story. He's going door to door, knocking on people's door, peering into windows and carrying a large knife. A woman named Corinne Spry said she saw him twirling a knife while she was on the back porch with her family. So there's already witness. He's walking down the street, people. This is not made up. This is real. This happened just a few days ago. And here's the arrest. Illinois State Police says special agents arrived on the scene, quickly identified a juvenile suspect, and later located him at a residence, taking him into custody Tuesday afternoon. Police stated there was no ongoing threat to the public. The 15-year-old suspect has not been identified by name, and it remains unclear whether he's been formally charged. Well, of course, he's going to eventually be charged. Police have not released details about what led to the killing or what brought the teen to that neighborhood. So there's a lot to be found out in this situation, but this is a bizarre story. You all have to tell me what you think. And in relation to that, with all this craziness that's going on, I thought I would end my video with a Bible verse, straight out of Psalms 75. And this kind of correlates to the demonic forces that are taking place in some of these stories that I've done recently, especially with these two stories out of East St. Louis. So this is out of Psalm 75, God will judge with equity. We give thanks to you, O God. We give thanks, for your name is near. We recount your wondrous deeds. At the set time that I appoint, I will judge with equity. When the earth totters and all its inhabitants, it is I who keep steady its pillars. I say to the boastful, do not boast. And to the wicked, do not lift up your horn. Do not lift up your horn on high, or speak with naughty neck. For not from the east or from the west, and not from the wilderness comes lifting up, but it is God who executes judgment, putting down one and lifting up another. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup with foaming wine, well mixed, and he pours it out from it. And all the wicked of the earth shall drain it down to the dregs. But I will declare it forever. I will sing praises to the God of Jacob. And the horns of the wicked I will cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be lifted up. Tell me what you think of this story. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-conscious way.